that I think that the qualifying sessions have been a bit more entertaining than the actual race sessions. And I think I still kind of stand true to that. But this weekend, all dry, no adverse conditions as far as the weather. We did have a couple of other things involved in the GP that brought a little bit of entertainment to the race. And like I said, you breed good competition. If you breed good competition, then you'll also have entertainment follow along with that. And that's just one of the things that you can get if you do things the right way. Formula One up until now has kind of been doing things the wrong way. So before we even get started, I definitely want to send a big shout out to people pouring in the chat. First, I see Mary Beanie pulled up first. What's going on, Mary Beanie? Chris Poplar. We got Box Office Ham in there. We got Sylvia Witt Kelly. Big shout out just over her Purple Sectors lifestyle merch. And we had an awesome race live event yesterday. Several people sent some good things are going to be sent out. Notice that the post office and the UPS stores were closed today, of course. Derwin Hill, the winner of the official authentic Alfa Romeo autograph poster by Valtteri and Joe. We have Baraka, who won the quality kickback trivia games that we have doing our live qualifying watch, won $50 in a Visa gift card. And we had a new VIP member. Walter Shavers is the new VIP member. So we had quite a bit going on for even ourselves this weekend for this Monza GP. So we're going to get started. We're going to start off with some soft topics. We start off with some soft topics. People like to kind of start pouring in, and some people are a little bit late, and we're a little bit on different time because of the holiday today. And honestly, I like, what holiday? And then somebody had to tell me it's a holiday. And I was like, okay, I got to reschedule that. So let's start on some soft topics. All right. Soft topics start is Ferrari drivers robbed. Okay. What is up with these Ferrari drivers being robbed? We had Charles robbed back in like April. Carlos, after a very warm home welcome and pole position and a podium, is reported that Carlos was robbed for his watch. Okay. Robbed for his watch. His personal trainer supposedly got it back now. We'll see actually what happens. Charles actually had, went after the perpetrators in the Ferrari, but I don't know. I think maybe people see Ferrari just fumble it up and screw it up, and they like, you know what, y'all don't want anything great anyway. Just give me that watch. And they often trying to take these watches. I hate people robbing others for things that they've worked for. I'm never going to support that. As ridiculous. If you want that watch, get off your ass, work, go get one. So it's unfortunate that these situations are taking place, and you're really putting somebody's life at risk. Not only are you putting the person you're robbing, their life at risk because they don't know what you're willing to do for something of insignificant value and compared to life is, you're putting your life at risk because some people that you go out to rob may be prepared to do what they need to do in order to retain their valuables and things they've worked hard for. So fortunately, I believe Carlos got his watch back. I think Charles even got his watch back, but still it's a situation and a risk, a very unneeded risk that is happening. So big shout out to Ferrari for their out of nowhere performance this weekend. Like, it was crazy. Okay. And to then leave there and then this watch, I think these Richard Milles go for at least $250,000, like anywhere from like $250,000 for some of these pieces. And I would imagine the one that Carlos had probably tapping close to $200. 200,000. When I say $200, I'm talking about $200,000 is what I would imagine that watch would be costing, and it's not cheap. It's not cheap, but it's definitely not worth your life. So big shout out to the first person in the actual live audience, Uno in the live audience. Big shout out to you, bro. So it's not worth your life, but it's definitely a fortunate situation that nobody was harmed in that ridiculous bull crap. All right. Also, new thing added to the studio right here. As you see, I have the wall of constructor championships. Okay, so we're going to run that. We're going to start doing that, maybe even going into next year. I'll get a few more of the cars. Right now, of course, we have Red Bull first. We got Mercedes. Then we got Ferrari falling in third right there after this weekend. So this is new addition to the studio. We're going to start doing that for the constructor championships once I get the other cars, just in case Aston Martin, maybe McLaren get up there. But we're only going to do the top 3 constructors. So if you see a blank up there one time, it's because we don't have that car yet, and it's not not up there. But fortunately, we have all three constructors, Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari. So watch out for that to change when we're doing lives. That should change according to the Constructor Championships, if I can remember. And if you ever see it and it's not changed, let me know. Oh, F1-ish, G5 MDS coming in early off the soft topics. Let's go. Let's see what my bro got. We're going to give him his F1 minute, 60 seconds for him to lay it down. What's going on, my brother?
What's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. What you got today?
Hey, man, I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. First question.
You broke up on us. G5. Oh, man.
They ain't got his best interest at heart, do they?
There. Hey, hold, you just came back. I see you got the shirt on too, bro.
Oh, yeah. I got the cup, the hat, the empty t-shirt. I got it all, bro.
I see you. Go ahead. You had broke up on me, man. I'm going to start your clock over, bro. You had broke up. Go ahead. Start again.
All right. I said last year we was talking about Merck, and I was telling you, man, we loyal to Merck, but Merck ain't loyal to Hamilton. You was like, G, man, we got to ring with Merck because we loyal. I said, bruh, they don't have his best interest in heart. So I think you feeling me now.
Yeah. I think honestly, man, it's a bit more understand where you were coming from versus when we first talked about it. I think it's some situations in Mercedes that have come out to where they're, I don't want to say they totally gave up on Hamilton, but I think they're looking a little bit past him. Right. And I think that's unfortunate for them. And I think they take it a little bit. I know Toto says, yeah, I'm with it, and we wanted him to get his eighth, but you got to show that shit through actions. And I don't think they really showed it through stern actions that we messed up and we really feel some kind of way about it. And we really going to do every damn thing we can to make sure we get you the same thing that you got us.
Right.
So, yeah,
a construction cup, because they didn't fight for him a couple years ago.
Right. So, yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely on that one. What else you got for me? Because you ain't been on in a minute, so what else you got for me?
Oh, man, nothing, man. I'm just living, man. 10 months ago, been crazy, man. My mom passed, then my wife's mom passed. That's where I've been. I've been just coming back online, bro.
Bro, condolences, man. No, I was wondering where you was at, man. Condolences for that, bro. You know, all time, man, you got to keep your head up, bro. You a strong individual, strong brother, man. Condolences on both of that, man. So that's an unfortunate event. I haven't been through that yet. Been through a sibling, being murdered. But as far as like losing a parent, man, I haven't been through that. So
yeah, that parent thing, man, it's not as bad as it seemed in the end, because what you realize is in order to get where you at, they had to get all the way to where they at, and you got to let it go sometime. If they still here, then how I'm gonna keep evolving. My grandkids gonna keep evolving. So yeah, I'm with it.
Big facts, bro. Big facts. Hey, man, well, I appreciate you being a strong part of the fan, man. You've been here, you've been loyal, you've been down sure loyal to Mercedes. I tell you that shit.
I know. So I'm watching you grow, man. I'm proud of you, bro.
Appreciate it, brother, man. Appreciate it, bro. You stay repping, bro.
All right, baby.
All right. That's the bro right there. Hey, that's what. Hey, let me tell you something. You talk about like one of the trillest. Like I'm telling you, G5, like he don't hold no punches. He gonna say what he got to say, how he got to say it, when he got to say it. I respect that so much about that brother, man. So big condolences out to his family for that, and definitely his mind state to even stay as strong and understand the cycle of life and how things need to go within that situation is something that just tells you about his resilience and his ability to be a strong black man in today's world and society, and to his family. So like I said, big shout out to my brother, man. Anybody else out there going through something similar, big shout out to you all. Big condolences as well. We address all things in life on this platform. Nothing is like out of bounds for us to pay attention and give people homage or give them their flowers for. So big shout out to the fam. So I'm hoping like we were saying, and like G5 was saying about Mercedes, I know some of y'all, we're going to bring that topic up again. We're going to bring that topic up on another F1 Minute. How you all feel about the loyalty of Mercedes to Lewis Hamilton and vice versa. I think that's going to be a very good topic. We're not going to hit on it too much today, but we'll hit on the next F1 Minute because we got a good amount of time coming up again, as we will be racing esports race this weekend because Formula One will be off. So if you want to race with us on the esports, the EA platform, F123, send me a friend request on the EA platform at Wolfpack F1. I'll accept that friend request. And when we get ready to go into free practice, when you see the post for the race event, I'll send out invites for the free practice on anybody who's on the friends list. And then you can get in that, and then we'll do the quali, we'll do the race, and so on. But also do not forget, toward the end of the season, we will be having a giveaway for a full nice bundle of Fanatec gear for you to start streaming and racing with. We're going to have the Fanatec Club Sport steering wheel. We're going to have the Fanatec base, which is also Xbox, PC, PlayStation compatible, and you're going to get the Fanatec pedals, among other things that we will also have throughout that competition for people to get. So we got a lot of good things coming here at the Wolfpack platform. We've been rolling. We got Uno coming in. And right now we had the soft topic about Ferrari, Rob, and he says Leclerc is top #1, but it mainly like a deck of cards. Okay, so we're gonna bring Uno in first after we hit this next soft topic, and our next soft topic is going to be about Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton apologizing for contact with Oscar Piastri, and I said this when I was watching the race, and I said this Sunday when we had the post highlight race event, live event. I said that when I saw that situation, immediately I was like, that's really on Lewis. That's on Lewis. But what I can tell you is this: you won't get that out of Max Verstappen. I don't even know how many other drivers you'll get out of, but I can name a few. But you won't get that out of Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is not known to even take accountability for his actions when he's done something wrong on track, like running somebody off. I didn't hear him apologize about Gasly. Only person I've ever heard him try to even give something to was Lando, and it really wasn't an apology that did it. And plus, he should have been penalized for it. You didn't hear any of that situation, okay? Any apologize when he ran Lewis off in Monza and parked his car on top, like none of that. So people like to immediately, when they see these situations, go off on Lewis, but tell me how many times you've seen that situation with Max, and then immediately you'll see that. Because we saw what happened between Max and Russell with the contact. It wasn't no apology. It wasn't trying to come up and just even things out. Max wanted somebody to apologize to him and take the blame and even call Russell a dickhead. Like, that's the difference. That's the difference in quality of character and personality. That is the big difference. I'm going to bring Uno in on our first segment. Charles or Carlos in charge? Who's the real #1 driver? Here we go. Uno, tell us what you got to say, twin. I'm going to start your F1 minute, man. But before I start your F1 minute, brother, give me a mic check.
1, 2. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We good. All right, man. You got your F1 minute. Let's go.
Okay. First of all, blessings everyone to G5 condolence.
Facts.
Right. This debate on also who's #1, we know mainly is Charles. Charles has been there before even Sainz come on board, and he's actually been the #1 driver of all times. So there's no actual despising of or even saying that, okay, Sainz is going to be the main #1, because mostly now we see the shuffle and change of his car getting worked on and his car coming out more performed. Whereas we see as Charles is just kind of going through the process, getting chop every time like a flipping confetti on a flipping food. So he does not quite gain what he wants to gain as being the #1, but at the same time, he doesn't even feel he's #1. One time we said about in the sense that he should be like leaving and going away, but because now Fred Vasseur is in, let's see how it works. But he's still got to get up to that level of actually being the #1, because he is mostly the definite #1 of all. So he's either work with Charles, make him work, make him get there, give him like what we see of Lewis, work with the car, work with him, give him the actual feed that he needs, because you can see in the guy's eye, you can see how well. But as this race gone, you know how he actually felt. He felt good. He felt good that he's actually made it to 4th, not on the podium, but he battled with his partner, his teammate.
Right.
But at the end of the day, is what shows that he has the consistency. He's got that drive. He's got the momentum. So Charles, like we said, ain't gonna leave. Charles wants to still see what the Ferrari is going to do for him, along with Fred Vasseur, and he also wants to prove that he is the #1 guy, and there's no doubt about it or arguing about it. So there ain't no difference with that. The only thing we know is that he needs to get that recognition.
Okay, so let me say this. Let me ask you this: if he has to prove it, does that not kind of leave some room in there of question of, is he definitely that guy? I know it's one thing to say, hey, we're going to pick him #1, him #2. But if you look at actions and maybe the way they conduct themselves through radio to their engineers and throughout the course of a race, does Charles Leclerc come off as a real #1 driver in all of those capacities versus what you see from Carlos?
Well, you see from the time he had it before. Look back on his time before even Carlos came.
No, I know, but I'm talking about right now.
No. I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. At the same time, he's not quite getting to that level because we ain't heard much of his radio calls. If you see that from the time they've been concentrating with Carlos, you hear most time they're saying, Carlos, get this sorted out. Carlos, catch it. And what Carlos kept saying, leave me. Let me concentrate. Let me get on with this. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Where's Charles? Where has we heard his radio contact? Where has we heard information? Where have we even get that feedback to say, Charles, you're lacking behind. Charles, you need to put this up. Charles, you need to get the tires fresh. Charles. We don't hear it. We hear Charles coming off when he crashes and, oh, I'm sorry, guys. It's my fault. Blah, blah, blah. And that's what you get.
That's another thing.
Right? That's what you
That's
get.
another thing because bro is crashing up some cars.
There you
know
have
what I'm
it.
saying? You're supposed to be responsible. You got to be responsible at the same time too, right? So we look at that situation. Charles is wrecking up Ferraris. That's not really helping the situation of a team in a cost cap. So at the same time, we say Charles is pushing the limit, but he's wrecking up Ferraris. Carlos is not doing that, but he's leading in the drivers' championship. And so it's kind of like Charles has to. I agree with what you're saying, Twin, but Charles definitely has to start conducting himself as a number one. He got to stop. A lot of time we hear Charles radio messages. It's almost more of a compliant, submissive type. Like, well, are we going to or what? Carlos is the different. Carlos the inverse. Carlos was in front and they told him to switch. And Carlos that evaluated that situation, talking about, nah, we're not doing that this time. And he was right. He actually was right in that situation. It wasn't like he was being selfish. He was actually right. And I think if we go back and watch that race, I got to try to recall which GP it was. But had they tried to switch position, it was likely both Ferraris were going to end up off podium had they tried to pull that maneuver. So not even is it just that, but Carlos's analytical ability while on track even seems a bit more sharper than Charles's ability.
Well, I give you a question on this. Do you actually think that Carlos has now stepped into the gear compared to what Charles has done before? And do you actually feel he is getting the recognition to take the number one spot? Because look back into those races, what we said, look back onto Carlos's races, and you see how much his body language, his voice, and from when he get penalized that 5-second penalty.
Oh,
He did not like it.
He was crying.
Exactly. He did not like it.
Crying.
So in that sense, right, you can see like it's a switch. You know, like you put on a new gear of a trainers and your sneakers is feeling a bit off and uncomfortable, and then all of a sudden you're gonna go to Nikes, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, hey, this feels different. So that's what it looks like to me. Right, that's what it looked like with Carlos, because now he's getting that switch and that motivation. But like we said, Charles has definitely got to step up and prove that he can definitely come back. Right, and stop crashing the cars. Yeah, because that's not helping.
Right. Appreciate you, Twin. Appreciate it, brother. Hey, Uno's right. See, that's what I like, man. We got some healthy exchange of ideas going on. That's what I like. That's what this platform for. So I did notice that I mentioned Uno is an OG here. He knows how to get in. He knows how to call in, but maybe you don't. So if this is your first time watching F1 Minute, first off, this show, this block is really for you all as the viewers to have an opportunity to do like Uno did. Come on, like G5 did. Come on, have your say, speak your word, maybe have a little bit of debate. And if you want to do that, you need to have a laptop or a desktop. You need to click that link that's in the description or the live chat, which it is pinned. Once you come into the studio, remember, you want to use Google Edge, not Google Edge, Google Chrome or Edge. Don't use Firefox and all the other stuff. And it will allow you to do a live call in like G5 and like you just saw Uno do, and we can get it in, get it on. So right now, I see we got the mechanic in the YouTube chat. He says, the wolf on the hill is not as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill. Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this is Carlos' attitude now. He's taking control. That's a very good quote to put up there. So we got USA is calling, says, is Max really in a league of his own? Or are others waiting on wheels to come in? Ooh, I like the way you put that. Let's see. All right, man, you got your F1 minute. Let me, what's going on, bro? Let's see what you got, bro. What you got? You got your F1 minute. Bring it in.
Oh man, they're gonna kill me, man.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I just feel two ways about the whole situation, man.
Okay.
I honestly feel like, what Max is doing is amazing, but if a few drivers who are on the grid actually had proper cars that were a bit more decent, we wouldn't really be seeing the results that we're seeing. I think that that'd be a lot more competition. So to just, inflate the whole situation like this, I don't know, man. I'm kind of fighting it. I don't think it's there yet. I feel like it's a bit too inflated.
I would agree. I would agree. So you think it's inflated?
Look, you still need to drive, bro, but
Yeah, facts. We're not taking that away.
I feel like if you really got the wheels, we'd be having a very different conversation right now.
I agree. And what I'm going to say is this. I think what you said is, people are going to come for that opinion, but I think it is true. And I think they look at it as true. And anytime you see people start blowing that much smoke, they trying to cover something up, right? They trying to make something more than what it is. It's a fact. Max has to get in that car every weekend and drive it. If he makes a mistake or he crashes out in a race, it's a done deal. So that's full credit to him to drive a clean race as far as turn, straights. I'm not talking about clean against wheel to wheel, because we saw even in the fastest car, he wanted to push gas. He pushed Gasly off track. Okay, we've seen this. So we're not talking about that, but we are talking about the fact that it is clearly and factual that they have the fastest car by far on the grid. It's not even a secret coming week in and week out. So yeah, you got to take the quality of that into consideration. Like, yeah, but he's supposed to do that with the type of car they got, and then they're gonna bring in Perez, and then. But listen, we already know we can look at the same situation at Aston Martin. Yeah, well, Lance is not doing the same thing Alonso's doing, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But Alonso is not even able to do what Max is doing because the car's not there. So it is a bit inflated, but I will still give Max his credit. He got his 10 races. He got himself a record.
Give it to him, man.
Give it to him. But I already said this before. We're going to see what Max is really made of when things get tight and cars and competitive drivers get next to him and they ever start passing him on straights. Then that's when you're gonna see, like, well, let's see what he really grew into. Let's see what he's really made of now that he's got to really bump elbows, not just able to DRS past somebody and you out there and clear. Because I already said Max is a front runner. As long as he's out front, his mentality is cool. But Max does not drive good under pressure. He folds under pressure, or he's going to have to try to push you off. He's not really good when it comes to that. So we'll see what happens, bro. But I do completely agree with what you're saying. It is inflated.
Look,
it is inflated.
I think honestly speaking, with the situation at hand, when there's pressure, we're definitely gonna see Jetta 21 kind of Max. When it's really tough. I think that's the kind of Max we're gonna see, man. But until then, I mean, Alonso could have been doing it, if that was the Aston this year, But also, I think maybe Max has just learned quite a few things in terms of composure. So that's really what was displaced, I think, in Monza. He really showed a bit of composure there.
Yeah, he did.
Applying pressure.
He did. I give him that too.
I think that's what made Carlos succumb to the situation, But other than that, man, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Moose calling in this first time. That's what I'm talking about, bro. All right, we got Baraka, $50 earner right there. I got to give Baraka his credit before he gets started and get going, man.
Yeah, what's going on?
He who won another kickback quality trivia games for $50, bro. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just doing this back to back now. All
right,
that's all I gotta do.
Will, I'll say it for you. Will, where you at, bro? Where you at? Baraka coming for that title, man.
Hey, I'm not saying all that.
Back. I think Will, what he got, 3 or 4. I think he got 4 back to back. So you getting close, man. You getting close.
Will is different gravy, man. That's a whole different league, man. I'm just running my own pace.
All right, you doing the Alex Albon. I feel you.
Yeah.
All right, man. You got your F1 minute. Go ahead, my brother. What you got?
Nah, on a serious note though,
okay.
Ferrari got to figure it out as of late, because again, if people who watched the last 10 laps of that race, I can't lie, the chances of them wrecking each other out were at an all-time high, because the way Charles and Carlos were moving, Pret Vizor's heart rate must have been through the roof. But
facts.
If they were to pick a number 1 driver, because I think they need to at this point.
Okay.
at this point, Carlos has been the more consistent driver. Yeah, yes, Charles got the podiums, but he's madly inconsistent. He'll get a podium one week and then barely make it into the points the next. So while Carlos, he's been again just constantly in the points, he's comfortable. He's comfortable where he is amongst the grid. While Charles is like, again, you may have a Zandvoort again. And that was rough because Liam Lawson overtaking. Oh, that was a rough one to watch. Yeah. I'm not even a Ferrari fan, and I was like, ooh, I kind of felt bad for him.
Right.
But again, Ferrari, God knows what's going on because other teams, you can say McLaren don't have a number one driver, but it's clear and obvious that Lando is their guy.
Right.
Piastri is there just to provide a little competition and support.
Mm-hmm.
Red Bull got Max, Mercedes got Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
So just establish a number one so you could move past it. Okay. Because again, you can't go to every race wrecking each other, having that threat of being wrecked out by your own teammate. Almost every other race, like we saw in Monza. Like again, yeah, Carlos put up a pretty good defense, but the way Charles was attacking him,
oh man,
it's like and both of them were locking up. That one lockup from both, it's like they almost risked again. It's like it's over. They just pretty much handed. Who was P?
It would have been Russell. It would have been Russell. Yeah. Would have came
Russell.
Into it.
Yeah, they would have gifted pretty much a Mercedes 2-3.
Right. It would have been a wrap.
It would have been a wrap, and I'm not saying Mercedes deserved it because. Lewis charging up the grid. They would have given up. Yeah. So they would have gifted someone a podium, which would look bad on Ferrari in their home turf too.
Right.
And they already have to deal with the one person breaking a record in their own backyard. They don't want to embarrass themselves even more on wrecking each other out.
Right.
So yeah, it's crazy.
I feel the same way.
It's crazy times going on because there was high expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Not even from rival fans, excluding myself. I had a higher expectation for Ferrari this year, based off of last year. Yeah, of course, the development war between Red Bull and Ferrari last year. After race week 5, Red Bull outdeveloped them, while Ferrari was just caught with their pants hanging down to the point they were almost a threat by Mercedes and everyone else on the grid. So the expectation was high, and I just kind of felt disappointment. I'm just disappointed in them because what happened from last year and now. You have Aston Martin jumping above you. You have Mercedes and McLaren catching up to you.
Right, they catching up
rapidly, and there's some races where they finish ahead of you.
Right.
And then you have Alpine, depending on if their engine wants to, decides it's like, you know what, I'll race the entire race, be a threat, because sometimes that engine throughout the race, halfway through the race, it's like, all right, it's my day off, I'm going home, and it just completely shuts down.
Right.
So
I ain't get my 30-minute lunch.
yeah, I get my 30-minute lunch. I'm out of here. So Fred Vasseur has a lot on his plate going into the final races of the season and into next season. He has a lot to figure out. Engine wise, who's going to be that number one? Because everyone thought Charles was that number one, and I thought so too. It's like, okay, Charles could comfortably be that number one, but the way the season is, that number one status at Ferrari is looking a bit shaky.
True.
Yep.
True. That's how I feel the same way, bro. When I was watching the race, I was like, I can't believe Ferrari is about to screw their entire home crowd by these sibling rivals right here in the last final laps of this race. They actually think it's a good idea while you got one podium spot, because Perez had went ahead and locked in second. Finally, he did what he was supposed to do in the fastest car on the grid, even if we want to say it's altered. He's P2. And I couldn't believe P2. Yeah, I couldn't believe that Ferrari were gonna risk giving up the last spot based on letting their drivers fight at that time. I understand early in the race, like, hey, we're not putting anybody on a strategy. We're gonna go ahead. We got y'all do your thing. But when you're coming to the final laps and like, yo, this shit's over. We gotta lock in this podium. Carlos has got it. Charles, you're just gonna have to hang back and just run it in. And they were going, I was like, oh my gosh, this shit's about to be one of the most epic Ferrari fails that we're about to put in this book. So fortunately it didn't happen. And I feel like you too, man. I'm not a big Ferrari fan, but I'm a fan of people being the best they can be, especially when I see potential. And Ferrari just, it just like they got it. They got the potential to do everything. It's like the people you say, you're the smartest, dumbest person I ever seen. You can be so smart, but you do some of the dumbest shit.
Dumbest shit. Yeah.
You do the dumbest shit, man. Why? So yeah, that's how I feel about Ferrari, man. But big shout out to Baraka, hey man, and congratulations again, man. I'm trying to look. Hey, get ready, man, for that 3P.
Yeah, the 3P.
Get ready for the 3P, bro. All right,
hey,
bro. I'm gonna see you
hopefully,
soon.
man. Fingers crossed.
All right. Hey, that's Baraka getting his $50 Visa gift card sent out this week, collecting that cash. You know what I'm saying? So we're about to get into our next segment. But yeah, as far as Ferrari are concerned and what they have going on, it's just they got, like Baraka said, they have to get it together. I admire them not locking their drivers in to limit their ability, but I do believe in those final closing laps, you have to do an additional risk assessment and say, hey, we gave y'all this amount of opportunity to figure out where you all were going to be in these spots. This is not the time for it anymore. So-and-so has the lead. The other one you just need to support and bring it home. And they didn't do that. Like they let it run on too long. They let it go on too long. And like I said, a lot of us you can't down Ferrari for them allowing their drivers to race for what they can get, because so many other times we want to say that, oh, we don't like the fact that you're going to hold another driver back. The Schumacher dynamic. Okay, you're number two no matter what. If he's in this position, you're not going to get any higher. We down that, but then we can't overly criticize Ferrari. But in those final moments, as Baraka was saying, like that's time to reevaluate the situation. You're on your home track. You have pole position. It's an awesome week thus far, and you cannot allow yourself to get thrown further out of contention of the Constructor Championships. You've already fallen to third, as you see right here. Our Constructor Championship wall is right here. They fallen. Mercedes is up, so they got to be careful. And Ferrari have already done a lot of things to hurt themselves. Like Galactus said, shoot themselves in the foot. They need to minimize the risk. So let's get into our next segment. And the next one we getting into is I want to know how you all feel. Are you liking the ATAs versus the sprints? Because this is something that I've been thinking about. I've thoroughly have enjoyed the alternative tire allocation situation. I think it's actually breeded a good amount of competition. I always say this, good competition will bring entertainment. But what I also will say is, if I'm not mistaken, Red Bull are 0 for 2 in these situations. We got Gene Makita says, if Charles gave Max that same energy, could have been different. Yo, that's true. You know what? If Lando gave Max that same energy, it could have been different, because Lando is a glorified doorman anytime Max is right on his gearbox. I give Carlos big props for doing and defending like he was against Max. He was not going to give it to him easy, and he didn't. Lando would have opened up the door like a bellhop boy and let him right on through. Here you go, Max. Come on through for us, buddy. Do what you got to do. But speaking on this tire allocation, I like it. We had a situation where we got our first one, I believe it's a Hungarian GP. Lewis Hamilton gets a pole position, okay? Gets a pole position. Next thing you know, we get our next tire allocation situation, and what do we get? Carlos gets a pole position. Both of these pole positions by very, very small and tight margins, but nevertheless enough competition and difference to actually change the outcome, give competitive teams an edge on doing certain things. And in those things, we had people get different pole positions that maybe would not have happened in that situation. So like I said, in these situations, Red Bull is 0 for 2. They have not grabbed a pole position when the tire allocations are kicked in. And that's even something to be interested in paying attention to, as far as their ability, maybe, tuning the car certain ways. But I like it. I like the situation. I want to know what you think. What do you think about the tire allocation versus the sprints? Do you like the sprint races more? Do you like the tire allocations within the qualifying session more? What has been more interesting to you? Because I can tell you the sprint races to me are just, they haven't changed the format enough to really really, you got the sprint shootout and then you got the sprint. And it's like, okay, but still we know the teams that are going to grab the points and go back home and grab more points on Sunday. And most times we watch a sprint race, we're kind of like, man, but the tire allocation in quali to me has been an additive for competition. And I have definitely thoroughly enjoyed it. Enjoyed it all. So like I've already said that majority of the time this season, quali has been more entertaining than the race itself. Sylvia Wick dropping memberships in there, and it looks like Alwyn Harvey has collected that membership courtesy of Sylvia Wick. Definitely paying note and paying attention to that. Also, big shout out to Gene for the super chat, and as well as the mechanic for the super chat. Definitely noted. And we will post tomorrow a post welcoming our new members, because we do have several new members, as well as a post congratulating and thanking our super chat members who do the super chats and support the channel, all of that stuff. Also got some good things coming up, especially next season, but at the end of this season, some pretty good things coming up. So I'm gonna tell you how this show works. It works like this. This is more about you than it is about me. I do a lot of talking all weekend and on the weekdays and lives and videos. I want to hear what you have to say. So do you like the tire allocation or the sprints better when it comes to a weekend? If you want, you don't come on now, you answer the question in the comment section. Most people know I'm pretty good with answering comments and our situations. When I go back and I'm kind of chilling for the night, I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I go through comments and kind of respond to them, just to give you all a little bit of respect for you coming to the platform and taking your time to leave a comment, whether it's a hating comment or a praising or encouraging or a debating comment. Hey, you came here, so there you go. What else can I say? But yeah, I do like the tire allocation. I'm looking to see more of that. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing it every time, to be fair. This is actually an additive that I think could happen at every quali, and it's not going to get overbearing. This is something that indeed I believe is a good thing. If they want to do it every other GP, that's cool. But I do think that this should be here to stay. I don't think it should go anywhere. I think we should have this from here on out. Now, as far as the sprints, I think that maybe the sprints it's at its full. Like, don't drop another sprint in the bucket for a calendar season. Don't do it. It's just, the cup's going to run over. You haven't done enough. You haven't reconstructed, reformatted the sprint enough for us to feel like it's entertaining to watch as far as competition. We just feel like we're watching teams run away with points that are already going to run away with points. And those teams often already know that they got a big edge on the other team. So they're not going to go full out. They can dial back, kind of relax, just go ahead and collect this. We know we got it in the bag. Versus had you inverse the grid, put the lower teams up top teams toward the bottom, or go ahead and let the lower 10 drivers compete in the sprint race, while the top 10 drivers go for a quali to set the grid on Sunday, and the bottom 10 drivers go into the sprint race and let the sprint race results classify them for the 11 to 20 spots on the grid on Sunday. I think that's really what you should have did. Now they kind of separated the sprint completely from Sunday, and it's a little bit. Derwin Hill in the chat. By the way, Derwin Hill, big shout out and congratulations. Derwin Hill was the winner of the Authentic Alfa Romeo autograph signed poster by Valtteri and Zhou. That was an awesome thing to see. Still very excited about that. He says in the super chat, I think the qualifying is more exciting, enjoyable versus the actual race itself. And that's what I was saying. USA Musa is coming in and he says, I think it was important for Ferrari to let their drivers fight the final stint out. Okay, he's going to go back a segment and come up, but let's hear what Musa got to say. We're going to give him his F1 minute, and I'm going to start that clock now. Brother, what you got?
Yeah, man, I think it was definitely important for the two drivers just to really show their grit on that final stint. And yeah, I think it is definitely a touchy.
Oh, we lost Musa. We lost him. There you go, Musa. Go ahead. You back.
Sorry about that, man.
You good?
You hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, man. I think it was just important for them to really do that, and I was scared. I nearly thought Charles and Carlos would have nearly knocked each other out there. But yeah, man, it was just important for them just to see, who really had grit on the track. And where was Charles Leclerc in the first stint, man? I was really expecting him to just really protect Carlos, whilst they were driving, and he would have got that DRS toe that he would have needed and keep pace. So I was a bit confused as to why he couldn't get such a decent start, you know, and really just fight Max off as much as possible. That would have really helped them, you know, at least secure a win, you know, and then they could have fought it out from there. Because then it would have forced Max to really push them to. He would have forced Max to really push and make a decision. Either I'm going to abuse these tires and try get track position, or I'm gonna have to lay back and hope that I can stick with him. And I mean, Max was struggling with that top end. You know, he was. I mean, he said it on chat with, I think GP. Eh? That's his race engineer. Yeah, he was saying that look, these Ferraris are quick today. So that was a missed opportunity. I think if Carlos, not Carlos, if Charles had a really decent start, that would have really sealed the deal, in my opinion.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring you off because you got Echo sent your thing, and I'm gonna respond to that. So I do agree with what Musa's saying. I was looking for a bit more for Charles, but I think we've been looking for a bit more from Charles for quite some time. So I think we're like also Uno and I said earlier, he's still working. And speaking of Uno, we got him coming in right now, less on sprints and keep doing more with the TA. Go ahead, brother man. You got your F1 minute. Let me hear what you got to say on that.
Respect. Mic check.
Go.
1, 2. Can you hear me?
Good, bro. You get in.
Yeah. Well, I agree with what we all said about this tire allocation, because at the end of it, it really cuts down less of the sprint, and it gives more race interest, as we see from two guys, Lewis and Carlos. Look on the two definitions. With I think it might be the hard tires. Hard tires, they do great work, but although hard tires during the times gave them a lot of problems. Lewis was always struggling with the hard tires, and then he gets the two working was the mediums and the super softs. But this time, I think the Pirelli guys have done something to these hard tires. Hence, that's why now we got the new introduction. We didn't hear that much when it was during the other races back then. That they what I get Crofty was saying about the new free allocation tires were like super soft, hard mediums, and hard, and we didn't hear that much. Now it's like the hards come back, but this time come back strong. So we saw that magical performance what Lewis did get at pole position, outstanding. But then Carlos get his name on the notch and on the pole recognition in his how would I put it? Not home race. He's getting on his like reference now, because when it comes down to as you know,
his resume.
His resume. Now that he's got that, that's going to get him more interest. And this time, I see during the race, there was a lot of guys. I think there was about 17 mediums, 3 hards, and you can see how much of the guys was going through that momentum, but you don't even see how much they were all coming up in the races. Magnussen was struggling. Hulkenberg was struggling. What happened to them? Right? And they are the guys that was on hards. So what's going on with Haas? That's a question I want to ask you, my twin. What's going on with this dumb Haas? And that name sound like it's Haas with a bean missing.
Right. That was good. I like that one. I like that one. That was a good one.
Right?
I like that one.
So, what is going on with Haas? And as you one time to say about Gunther, you remember you said in your comments was like, what's Gunther playing at? You ain't heard much about him. Yeah, that's my question too. I was asking, where's Pokey Pig? Because normally you would hear. I don't hear that.
Right.
I don't hear him coming out to the guys saying.
He real dialed back, ain't he?
You see, that's the problem. What happened to him? He usually come out He usually coming out without the actual swear words. Don't put him into that. But he usually come out kicking Hulkenberg and kicking Magnussen. But you don't need to kick Magnussen, because Magnussen would do his work. But he would kick Hulkenberg.
That's true.
To get down.
Right.
There you have it. Well, where was he that time? We don't even hear a sniffle. We don't even hear the stammering. We don't even hear him coming out saying, well, we didn't do great. We didn't do what we expected.
Real quiet.
That's what it was. You didn't even hear him actually make a noise on the damn wood. That's no pecking. Right? No pecking.
Right.
So Above all, what we're saying about this tire allocation, let's see how more is going to be, because at the end of the time,
Okay.
it cuts back. It cuts back on the sprinting, and it cuts back onto all this wasted time on. It saved them. That's what we don't even hear that much. And you notice now, each and every cars are performing except for a few. So
True.
this is where we're going to need to see what these guys are Pirelli going to do, because there was also speculation that they nearly complete the contract for something brand new of their tires formation to get more in business.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard about that because not Crofty, Ted mentioned that. Ted was even saying about it to, I think, one of the guys that came. Oh yeah, is it Mario? Mario was doing a documentary about him doing an ambulance service, and he came off back from that service, volunteering, and Ted asked him a question about that Pirelli contract, and that's when I also go, yeah, what's going on with that? So is there going to be more introductions on tires? Is there going to be more business in bringing in more tires? And are we going to get more like 5 compared to what we got the 2 wet races to make it entirely 7, like what we said? We want to see those tires formation come back in and make the race more interesting like what it used to be back then.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
We will see. A lot of
Yeah.
us wonder about that. So appreciate that, Uno. Appreciate that, Twin. And I definitely, we're going to see. A lot of people have been wondering about the tire allocation as far as tire contract. Some people have been wanting to see if Bridgestone is going to get back in, and they want to see a mix-up of Pirelli. I think Pirelli was really struggling with their compounds early in the season. I think we all pretty much know that. It was kind of very suspect. But some people would like to know if they're going to bring in tire war and just allow, another tire manufacturer in there. Because at this point in time, I want to say Pirelli is paying Formula One in order to be the tire supplier. So it's not like they couldn't say, hey, we're going to let somebody else in but that whole contract or whatever it is. But I would hope that Pirelli would get it right. But if they don't, then they need to be open to say, can somebody come in there? There's a lot of research and development with that. But let's go ahead and get into our segment right here. It's been a very, very loud and clamoring situation going on. The strongest teammates. Now, let's be clear. Max Verstappen did start this by saying something. And when he said it, maybe he should have thought beforehand about what he was saying and if it was ever going to come back, because it's now come back. And now that Lewis has responded to it, people are like, why is Lewis bringing this up? But it's something that's been going on. And a lot of people like to try to say it to discredit Lewis, but it's just not factual. Okay, so with that, Max says, but he's also had the car. And when you have the dominant car, then the only one you really are fighting is your teammate. He then goes on to say that over the years, Lewis hasn't had the strongest teammates. I don't know how Max could come to say something like that, because did you not compare your teammates to Lewis's teammates before you opened your mouth about that? For one, you've never had a championship driver as a teammate. Lewis had one as a rookie. Your drivers, your best 2 teammates, Ricciardo and Perez, don't even tally as many wins as Valtteri does on his own, or as many podiums as Valtteri does on his own. Okay, so when you're talking about that, matter of fact, we can just, we'll look at some of that, but let's look at some of the other quotes that were brought up by Max, and we'll talk about that, as well as quotes brought up by Lewis Hamilton and Toto. So we'll also bring those in and go over those. So when it also comes to that, Lewis had responded on an interview saying that, in my opinion, Valtteri and all my teammates have been stronger than the teammates Max has had. Toto also commented and came in with his say so on it. He says, our situation was maybe a little bit different because we had 2 guys fighting against each other within the team. Now, when he says that right there is something to kind of be like, because I think this season, a lot of people have been like, where the hell is Perez? What's going on with Perez? And it does matter, because at the end of the day, when you only have competition as your teammate, and Max brought that up. Remember, Max brought that up. Max is the one that said that. Do not forget that. Max said that as far as a teammate. He said it right here. The only one you're really fighting is your teammate. So if your teammate is a great caliber driver or a good caliber driver and is consistent and able to get wins, he's going to be taking wins off of you. Kind of like Perez was in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, we don't know what happened, but he managed to fall off, I guess. Maybe something happened, or maybe whatever happened, it happened, and he hasn't been able to take wins off Max. Max is the better driver. Okay, but still, there's some moments there where Max hasn't been a shining star, and if Perez was a better driver, he'd be taking wins off of Max. So that's just to say that. But as far as the teammate situation, Max must be out of his damn mind to even mention that. Because like I said on another show that we had, I'm just saying, and I told you all when I showed this information, people were going to be mad and they were going to lash out. And then all of a sudden, let me tell you what's funny. All of a sudden, the same people that want to support this, then when you bring up facts, they're like, oh, well, you trying to compare somebody's career that's not been it. No, don't give me the damn excuses now. Don't give me the excuses now. If you have excuses to why all of a sudden Max shouldn't be compared to Lewis when Lewis is outrunning and outgunning his ass in podiums and every other historic Formula One record, don't say anything if you got an excuse when you realize that you're running out of things to say about Max Verstappen in comparison to Lewis Hamilton. Yes, congratulations, Max got 10 wins, consecutive wins, outclassed Seb. Congratulations. That's good. You got that. What else do you have? And then you want to come up with the excuse like, oh, well, don't do that. Then keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. Just congratulate Max and be happy about that. Don't congratulate Max and then try to shade Lewis Hamilton because it's not the same. It's big bank over there. That's just a statistical fact. We're looking at Max's teammates right now. You're talking about Carlos Sainz, 15 podiums. He's only been top 5 3 out of 9 seasons. You're talking about Danny Rick, only been top 5 4 out of 13 seasons, 32 podiums, 8 wins. You're talking about Pierre Gasly, 0 times top 5 in a season, 4 podiums, 1 win. You talking about Alex Albon, which is doing phenomenal in his own right with Williams this season, but 0 times has he been top 5. He only has 2 podiums. He has 0 wins. Then you're talking about Perez, top 5 4 times out of 13 seasons, 33 podiums, 6 wins. Best 2 teammates you've ever had, Daniel and Sergio. Okay, that's the best 2 teammates. Don't get mad at us when we bring it's not even a debate. So Max to come out and that's what I say. Max came out and said what he said first. Come on now, Max don't be mad when Lewis rebuttals it like Lewis is just supposed to be quiet about it. He said it. Over the years, Lewis hasn't had the strongest teammates. Okay. So when Max says that and then we go and compare these teammates, all right, well, let me look and compare your teammates to Lewis Hamilton teammates, and then we'll see. So we'll take a look at that, right? We'll look and see what Lewis's teammates look like. Well, here we go. Fernando Alonso, what do you know? First time in Formula One racing as a rookie, Lewis Hamilton has Fernando Alonso as a rookie as his teammate. 9 times top 5 in 20 seasons, 105 podiums, which forgive me when I was doing my thing with Quick Stop, I said 100 wins. I meant to say podiums, 32 race wins, and he's got 2 championships. 2 championships. That's what he's got. 2 championships. But it doesn't stop there. Because remember, nobody on Max's list has a championship. Then we go to Jenson Button, 5 times top 5 in 18 seasons, 32 podiums, 15 wins, and another championship. So we got another championship driver that has been teamed up with Lewis Hamilton. Okay, so remember, Max said not the strongest. Yet Max has never had a championship driver, let alone barely had some drivers that got podiums over 30, which is Jenson Button. We got 105 podiums for Alonso alone, which they don't tally that together. And then we got 67 podiums for Valtteri. But let's go down to Nico, one and done, Mr. Nico Rosberg. 3 times top 5 in 11 seasons, 57 podiums, 23 race wins, and another championship. So that's 3 championship teammate drivers that Lewis Hamilton has had in his career. Then we go to Valtteri, 7 times top 5 in 12 seasons, 67 podiums, 10 race wins. Then you go to George, 1 time in 6 seasons, 10 podiums, 1 race win. How and what kind of math did you do, Max, to try and figure and say Lewis Hamilton hasn't had the strongest teammates compared to yours? I don't know. Uno says, can the Max fans stop trying to knock Lewis off to the top and Max, and please do your homework. Let's bring Uno in. We're going to give him his 60 seconds, F1 minute to go in. Here you go, Uno. What you got to say, twin?
A lot. I really got to say a lot. And this is the first topic. Where did Max actually get these stats from? Where did Max get to learn about Lewis's past history and then go and saying that Lewis never had to help him get to where he is, when basically we all see Lewis's past, we all see Lewis's present, and we all still know Lewis has got a future, right? He still breaks Michael Schumacher's record. He still got 103 wins, 103 podiums, 187, and he's still looking to get more tallies, still looking to get more wins, and even going to that maximum where we got to see in future time he might get above. So where on earth is these moronic Max bullshitting kiss ass fans and stat people can come out and saying that Max is the greatest, when Max ain't no damn goat? Max has still got a lot of trail. Max is also like a damn fire that ain't got much oil, no even carbons, not even any chemical parts to keep his fire burning. So where in this goddamn world is everybody, and including him, can go and put the microphone to his mouth and utter those stupid, dumb, syllabic words to say that Lewis has never had a strong team mates to finish a race, right? Because as more as we can see, Max has only got one individuals of like three. Ricardo, and then he did have Gasly, and along also with Albon, but Albon did not get much, so I wouldn't bring in the Albon that much. Gasly and get into work, and then all of a sudden got scraped off like some crap on his damn shoe and got tossed away. Ricardo did his damnedest and got 8 wins compared to where Max wasn't even getting one. So who on earth can Max actually say that he has the strongest team to get him to where he can be on the level of GOAT and get to where he's got just 10 consecutive wins, to what Lewis has got a humongous bedsheet, blanket making stats that prove that he is the greatest of all times, that everybody else even says the same. And he can get that from his best mate Lando Norris to even say the same damn thing. But if George go and open his mouth, which I'm going to bring in, if George go and open his mouth and saying about Max, then come off, George. Step off right now, because you ain't the guy to absolutely work with the Mercedes team if you're going to actually come up with this cutlass chop. Back home in Jamaica, we know how to chop coconut. Perfected. Any one of you, you're going to chop your freaking fingers off. Right? So George can go ahead and try and attempt. Max can go ahead and try and attempt. But please, all these freaking fans who are going to try and come out from under this dirty ass rock and hide behind that rock when you go and make some speculation on the facts, right? And they can't come out to come and present their facts to you. You challenge them. Where the fuck are they? So look at the screen. If any of you got the balls, the guts, the headstrong characteristics to come on board and say your damn facts to challenge this here alpha dog, be a man and step up, be a bitch and step up. Sorry for using that word, but be a person to come up and say, listen, here's my facts to you, alpha. Rather than going, because you know what you bastards are? A weasel. And we know how.
Yeah.
Right? Weasels come out whenever they want to come out and squeakily make noise. But when it comes to the alpha dog, we make it like learn that facts. Max was strapping dummies.
Big shout out to Twin. Go with it. Oh my gosh. Hold on. F1 minute. Can you get the real shit like that? Yo, Uno sent some gunshots y'all way. Where are you? And he's talking, you know who he's talking to, so don't get, we know you're going to watch the show, and then when the show's over, you'll go in the comment sections, and then you'll lay down your words. You won't come up here so many times. Like I said, I invited you up here. Where y'all been? We had one guy show up. He ain't ever come back. What's up? Goodness gracious, the toughest person to stand in there that I give all credit to is Baraka. Baraka comes in, he supports Red Bull. He like Red Bull, Max Verstappen, but he comes in, what he got, and we have nice, healthy debates. Where are you? What are you doing? That's all I got to say. So listen, you see it right here. You can count. If you can count, it's not hard. It's not too hard to know. It's not hard to know that Max was lying when he said what he said. It's not hard to understand why Lewis Hamilton said what he said. It's not hard to believe why Toto would go as far as to throw a nice little rock out there about Wikipedia when he said what he said. It's clearly obvious that Max, maybe you were jealous then. You're talking about Lewis Hamilton jealous now. Maybe you were jealous then. And that's why you said something so damn ridiculously stupid as what you said, because simple math tells you you're damn dead wrong. All right. And what you're talking about your only teammate to fight. Well, why don't you and your team come up with a way? Matter of fact, I'll tell you what. Matter of fact, Max, you running away with the championship. You running away with the championship, right? Y'all, Max is running away with the championship. He's going to get it. I mean, he's out there in these points. Wasn't it Max or Helmut Marko that said that even Max could bring an AlphaTauri or a Haas to pole? Show us. You got plenty of room and time. Show us. Please show us what you got. Show us, let us see Max bring an AlphaTauri or Haas to pole. Meanwhile, we see right now under tire allocations, Max has not brought the Red Bull to pole. We had Lewis Hamilton, we had Carlos. Under tire allocation, Red Bull and Max have not been able to bring an RB19 to pole. So you mean to tell us, because you're not going to show us, so you can tell us, and it remains to be assumed, Max Verstappen can get in an AlphaTauri or a Haas and bring it to pole. I'm going to say it like this. You shitting me. Just do your thing, man. Just do your thing. Have a good time. Hey, congratulations, Max. 10 wins. It's a thing you got. It's a record you got. Enjoy it. Enjoy it as long as you can, because we all know nobody's dominant forever. We do know this. So you should live it up. Red Bull should live it up while they can, because soon there will be another team that will be dominant. Regardless of how long it's like, it could go on 7 years. Red Bull can be dominant for 7 years. At some point in time, it's going to stop. It is. It's just, that's the nature of life. The old saying goes, nothing lasts forever. And that shit is true in all ways. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. All right. So it has been an awesome show. F1 Minute. Enjoy your holiday. Don't forget, Baraka, $50 is coming your way. Walter Shavers, a VIP box coming your way. Make sure you get in contact with me. Get your address. Derwin Hill gets the poster autographed by Valtteri and Joe, which they're having some trouble this season, but that is a nice and wonderful piece of Formula One history. And this is your boy Jay from Wolfpack Performance, Formula One, best F1 talk show podcast on the planet, all because of you all that make it the best. I just set the stage. Y'all do the work, and I absolutely love it. So peace and love to everybody. Let me make sure that we didn't miss any super chats. And no, I didn't. So with that being said, go watch a movie. Oh, no, he says Karen suggested last season, hard, medium, soft for quality. I got you, Galacticus. Got you. And Derwin Hill, I think it's in qualifying. I got that one. So go enjoy something to eat, enjoy some family, sit down and get you a little bit of rest, maybe grab some lemonade, some water, a Prime, whatever. You know, we're going to start mentioning those names because they got to pay for advertising. All that being said, Max Verstappen was wrong, but congratulations. Lewis signed a new two-year contract. We're going to see what Mercedes can do, and we're going to be here next Sunday for the Wolfpack Epic Grudge Race Series. So if you want to race, come race with us. We'll be live through the week talking about all types of other topics. Join in on the fun. This Wolfpack out. Peace.